Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another interesting looking puzzle. Now, I have not read all of the clue or the rule sets yet, so I'm not quite sure what these pills are doing, but they do look interesting in the fact that they are pills that aren't connected to anything, and there's some that are colored and some that aren't. Now, I don't know what any of that means, but we're going to figure that out shortly enough. As you can see, the name of this puzzle is Crystallization Strikes Again by our friend Will Power. So I guess we'll just get into these rules and see what's going on. So we've got normal Sudoku rules. So as typical Sudoku rules, every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains digits 1 through 9 once each. Now, pink pills are the sum of the two pills or circles below them. Pills are read from left to right. Okay, so what I think that means is, look at this pill here. This pill must be the sum of the two below it. So whatever the value in here as it's read from left to right would be the value of these two added together. And then if we continue down the line, this pill would be the value would be of these two, this one would be of these two, and so on and so forth down the line till we got to the end. Okay, that makes sense. I don't think I've seen that kind of concept before. It might have been something done previously. This is a newer puzzle, so I've got a backlog of things that I haven't gotten to yet, but it could be in there somewhere. But anyway, let's continue on. We've got Kropki Pairs, so numbers with a white dot between them are consecutive. Numbers with a black dot between them are 2-to-1 ratio, and not all dots are shown. So our normal Kropki dot rules, these white dots, the digits are consecutive. The black dots, they are in a 1-to-2 ratio. So in that case, whatever this one is either half or double of it. And we also have a killer cage. So numbers in cages sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. Sorry, I was about to sneeze. I think I saved it. Okay. So this killer cage is the only one we have. So these two digits just add up to that value that's in the top left corner there. Happens to be a 4. Now that's it. So those are the rules. Again, one of the rules is not something I've encountered before. I don't believe. No, I would have recalled if I had. It's kind of an interesting concept here. So let's get into it, see if we can sort it out. So, well, we'll take the low-hanging fruit. We've got a 4 cage here that must be from a 1-3. It's the only way you can make a 4. Now, looking in line, I don't think we can do a whole lot with these pills just yet. So I'm going to try to take some of this low-hanging fruit and see where it takes us down the line. So this 1-3 here means that this black Kropki is actually reduced somewhat. Now, normally black Kropkis, you can either have 1-2, 2-4, 4-8, or 3-6. 5-7s and 9s don't ever work on a black Kropki. You can't double or halve them and have a normal Sudoku digit. So this is actually reduced to a 2-4-8 type of combination. It must have a 4 in it. Now, let's think about how that might react with something else. Or maybe it's going to be combinations as we proceed up our pill values. Because another way to look at it would be, say, we know when you add these two digits together, they're going to sum to some value in this pill. So whatever its red is. Now this value plus this value is going to add up to this one. This one plus this one's going to add to this one. And so forth, and so forth. So we're going to have a situation where these are going to be the lowest values. And as we move up, it's going to gradually increase in value. So we probably could think of some ways where that's going to start to cause issues if we go too far. Okay, I took a quick look back on the rules there for a second to see if there was anything particular about the pills and the circles being on a black Kropki. It doesn't appear to say that. So I think in this instance, these two digits are by themselves in a 1-to-2 ratio, not that this and this are in a 1-to-2 ratio. That seems correct here because there's nothing that says that the pills or the circles work in that way. Okay, so let's start looking at this then, I guess. Now, looking here, I was going to say there is some reduction here. Like this could be a 1-2 or a 3-6. But that's not quite enough of a reduction as to what they can be to further influence this thing, I don't think. I'm going to put them in here just to have that visual. Now, these guys, the very lowest they could be is a 1-2 pair. And that would never work. So I think we can kind of skip some of this for the moment and think about values instead. So this can't be a 1-2 pair, because if it's a 1-2 pair, this is a 1 plus a 2 must equal some 2-digit number. So the only thing that will work here is going to be a 4-8 pair. So that, if we thought about that sooner, before I look at some of the easier stuff, well, this is kind of easy actually too. We probably could have gotten to this conclusion earlier. So I think this has to be a 4-8 pair, because the only way a black Kropki, the 2 digits on black Kropkis can add up to something that has a 2-digit value is 4 and 8, which equal 12. So this makes this the 2. So we can, and this has to be a 4, because we said there has to be a 4 on this thing. So this is not a 1-2 pair, it's a 3-6 pair. Now, we know that this pill, and I'm going to read it again just to make sure I don't mess this up. Pink pills are the sum of the 2 pills or circles below them. Okay, so this has to equal 12, because these are 4 plus 8. So this has to be 12, 1, 2. And that does, of course, work with our black Kropki dot. Now, we know this is a 12 value plus some other value. Now, it's possible, well, I guess we do know that therefore this has to be a 1. Because if this value was and this has to be less than a 9, essentially, or less than an 8, technically. If this was a 9, and this is a 12, we would have a value of 21. This can't be a 2 because this guy's here, so this is a 1. So we're still at a tens style digit here. Now this digit, of course, has to now be of some value that allows this to remain as such. Now we couldn't do an 8 here, because that would force this to be a 12 plus an 8, which equal to 20, which would put a 0 here. Again, if we weren't thinking about whether or not this could be a 2. So now this can't be a 7 either, because if this is a 7, this and 7 is 12 is 19, we'd have to put a 9 on a black Kropki, and we can't put a 9 on a black Kropki. So this could be 6. It can't be 5, again, for the value that would have to go up here. It could be 4, and I think that's going to be it, yes, because 3 won't work, and 1 and 2 look at it. So we're going to, I didn't mean to hit the 3 specifically. So let's put that there for now. We now know that this is a 1, it's either 16 or it's 18, because it's 12 plus 4 or 6, which means this is either a 3 or a 4. Now, if that's the case, we have a 16, so this is either a 1, 9, if this is 16 plus 3, or it's, oh, it can't be an 8, because if it's 8, it would be 18 plus 4, which is 22. We can't put 22 this way, so this is just 1, 9, which means this is 6, and this is 3, which means this is 4. There we go. We got some movement now. Now we know this has to be 19 plus something, so this has to just be a 2. This can't be a 1, so there's only 2 digits that can go with this guy. It's either 2, 1 or 2, 4. If it was a 1, 19 plus 2, so that doesn't work, so this has to be a 4. Therefore, this has to be a 5. Now this is a 24 plus some digit, and we could get ourselves up into a 3. So it's either a 2 or a 3 at the moment. Now I'm wondering, again, if we're going to get bits and pieces where it's going to start getting harder to make these determinations, because we're getting a little bit less to work with. So maybe there's going to be something on the side that we need to look at, because these guys are clearly have to be 7 and 8. It's all that's left over. We also knew that there has to be certain digits here. There has to be a 1 in here somewhere. What else do we need? We can't really rule anything else out except for a 4. Well, we couldn't have a 4 anyway, so we know this is 1 something. Now we know that this pill here is going to be the value of this plus the value of this. Can we then say that this has to be in some particular order? Because if this is a 6, 3, let's say, this would have to be at a bare minimum a 1. In fact, it would just have to be a 1, because we couldn't put a 2 or a 3 or a 4 on here. So if this was 6, 3, the 1 would make it, go into the 70s, a 2 would make it go into the 80s, a 3 would make it go into the 90s, so that's where we were at the stop. So if this is 6, 3, this is a 1. So what does that say? It means that this is broken, I think. No, it doesn't, sorry. If this is a 6, 3, and this is a 1, this gets up into at least the 7s. And I'm guessing it could get up into the 8s. I wonder if the 9 is a valid possibility here, because it could be 9 something plus a small digit. The smallest digit we could put here is a 5, actually, which would keep us into the 9s and something, but it doesn't look like there's a way we can remove that as an option just yet. Because this could theoretically be 9, 3. No, it can't be 9, 3. Oh, I guess it can't be 9, can it? Because we can't use 1, 2, 3, 4. So the least this could ever be is a 5. If this was a 9, 5, and we said the least this could be was a 5, it gets into 100, so this can't be 9. So we do end up with a 7, 8 pair here. And we know this has to be from 5, 6, so not 6, 7, 8, or 9. So we're looking at a bare minimum of 7 something. Like 75 would be the bare minimum we could put in here. And that forces this to get up into the 8s or the 9s. Because this digit has to at least be 5. So for bare minimum 75, and this could at minimum be 5, it would therefore have to be 6 because we used the 5. We're getting ourselves up into the 80s. Okay. Now, I don't think we've quite learned anything about this. Because this could still technically, well, this is if this is a 6, 3. So we have to go back and make sure we're not, and we probably might actually find out this is a 6, 3 because of this. We have to go back now and look at the 3, 6 possibility. Now, if this was a 3, 6, if we were to put a 1 of anything, if say 1 is the lowest digit we can put here, that would get us into 40s. And it could be 1 with some other value that gets into the 50s as well. We can't put 4 or 5 here. If this is a 3, 6, well, let's label this digit first. I think that's probably a good way to go about it. What can it be? It could be 1, it could be 5, it could be 7. It can't be 9 because we can't go past this threshold of the 7, 8. And it can't be 8 because of this. So those are our options. Now, if this was 3, 6, we just said the 1 doesn't work because we can't get high enough to a valid digit here. Now, this one we'll put in our 6 because there could possibly be a 6 here. Can't be 1, 2. This being a 3 doesn't ever work either because we're at least a 3, 6 here. So yeah, this could be this at minimum is up into the 60s. Now, if this was a 3, 6, we're looking at the next step up. Well, this can't be a 7 then, obviously, because you can never put a 70 something with a 30 something and get a 2-digit number. So can a 5 work here with a 3, 6? We know it obviously it can't be a 6, 3 working with a 5, but if this was a 5 and this was a 36, we're looking at being into Yeah, we can never do that, can we? Let me think about this 1 second. Because we're already at 80, or 86, I should say, because we get a 5 with an indeterminate number here, plus a 36, so it's 86. We can't go any higher than 89. This digit, well, it could be a 1. Couldn't it? And still be valid. If this was a 5. And I think that's the only way it could, because we can't use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, this would have to be, the next step up would be a 7. So it would be a 5, 7 with a 36, which gets us into the 90s, which doesn't work. Okay. Now, this guy, we know it's possible theoretically at the moment for this to be a 5, I guess. This guy is either a 1 or a 5. That's the only options that work. This guy here, we said it could be a 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, can't be 5, can't be 6, could be 7, and could be 9. I think those are all the possible digits that can go into this guy. That does seem correct at the moment. Let me just make sure. If this is, obviously, if this is a 5, this has to be a 1. That's what we've determined from the other options that we did. If this is a 1, can it be a 17, let's say? Because this would have to be 63. And this would be 17. That would put a 0 over here, which doesn't work. This can't be a 7. Can it be a 9? So can this be 1, 9? If this is 6, 3, that would make us at 85. That does work still. Okay. I thought this might take us a little further than it did, which is interesting, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. So let's look elsewhere, maybe, and see if we maybe could have continued up this ladder a little bit more. We know this digit was 19 plus 5, which is 24. This is 24 plus some digit that gets into either the higher 20s or the 30s. Is there something that's going to reduce that? Because this digit, theoretically, just looking at it on paper, could be a lot of things at this moment. It could be 1, it could be 3, and it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. I'd hate to go through every single option to see if we could reduce that any further at the moment, because it seems like there could be, certainly could be, multiple ways that would work. Yeah, I think so. All right, so what is there that we have not seen here, or we haven't thought about or looked at yet? This guy, there has to be more digits that can go up here because of this possibility of this being in the 60s, right? So this could definitely go into the 70s again, because 60 something plus some. No, because we said, yeah, so it would go into the 70s, yeah. What can this digit be? Let's just take a look at that. That might actually do some information, or give us some information. Can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. It could be 5. It can't be 6. It could be 7, 8, or 9. Well, I guess that actually looking at that, we get a digit in this row. I don't know if this is super helpful for us at the moment, but where does the 3 go here? Can't go here, can't go here, can't go in any of these other places. So this must just be a 3. That's a small little thing, but I guess it's interesting. I guess we do know the 9 has to go in one of these as well. Although I don't know how useful that would end up being. Maybe this digit is even, no, it's pretty much the same reduction as to what it can be. We know one of these has to be a 6. And again, looks like we're getting to a point where sometimes being able to see what's there is kind of the struggle to be able to move forward, and then I can struggle with that quite heavily sometimes. So try to not to narrow my focus too much sometimes, and then look back and say, wait, where does something have to go? One of these has to be a 1. One of these has to be a 2. So maybe if we started looking at, going more big picture in terms of our Sudoku, it might lend a hand in some way. It may not, but it doesn't hurt to look. I don't see it if it does. The other thing are these groupings of Kropkis, which there's not quite enough of them yet to really tell us what must or must not go into them, I guess. I guess looking at this 2, 3, we know it adds with a single digit to get up to something. So is it really, we can't go any further than a 4 here. And these are actually going to end up being fairly low digits, which is interesting. I thought we'd have a situation where we're climbing this ladder and these things start getting too high, which would cause us to reduce what these down here would be. But that doesn't quite seem like it is the case. And again, we're going to have either a 2 something, 3 something, or 4 something with a single digit. So we're going to get, I think we can probably rule out this being a 2, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Because we got a 24 base here. This digit could be a lot of things. It could get this as a bare minimum up to a 25. This could be a lot of little things. We could get this up as a minimum of 26, let's say. And this could be a low guy. No, it can't quite. So I think we can say this can't be a 2. And again, this might just be kind of grasping here, but or at least trying to find something specific. But if this was a 2, I don't think that works. Coming back down the line, because like I said, this is bare minimum. This is 25. So if this is a 25 plus 1, let's say we get 26. Now we got 26 plus, can't be 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4. Bare minimum this can be as a 5. So we'd be at 26 plus 5, which instantly gets us up into the 30s. So we can get rid of that for now. So we do end up staying fairly low. But again, I am not quite seeing the next exact step here. This is... Can this ever really be a 6? No, it can't, can it? Because if this is 36, we say we have to at least put a 50-something into this guy, which gets us up in the 80s. If this is 63, we have to have at least a teen digit, 19, to get us into here, which gets us into the 70s. Well, it would get us higher than 70, I think, but yeah, I don't think this can be a 6, which is what I'm trying to say. So if we remove the possibility of that being a 6, why did I mark this as being the only places where 6s could go. Oh, because of this 3, 6 down here. I got you. This forces this just to be a 6. Now, I think... No, we're still quite in the realm of possibility of having this be 3, 6 or 6, 3. But maybe we need to look at it again to see what the tail end ends up having to be. Because again, if we have a 36 here, this guy had to at least get into the 50s, because we couldn't use a teen digit, a 20 digit, a 30 digit, a 40 digit. So we're up into the 80s, bare minimum. If this is 63, this had to be into the teens, but in the digits that we put in here, this couldn't be 1, couldn't be 2, couldn't be 3, couldn't be 4, couldn't be 5, couldn't be 6, couldn't be 7 or 8. It ended up being a 19, so 19 plus the 36 gets us into the 8s as well. The 63 plus the 19. So this just has to be in 8s. This has to be in the 7s. Okay. Now, that does help us further. So I think that's what we needed to get our hands around. And we can start now going back and looking at the specifics of what these digits can actually be. Now, if this is 36, this is 51. That would make this be an 87. So the 7 is, I'm going to take our numbers off this just for a second so I don't mix up what can and can't be. Like I said, if this is 36, this is 9. This is 51, so that is 87. If this is 63, this is 59, which gets us into the 82, which it can't be an 82. So this just is a 7. Those are the only options, and this has to be our 36 with our 51. These are not 7s. So this is 87, so this can never be in the 80s anymore because we have to add 5 or 9. So this is in the 90s. Okay. Again, it's just fine. It's seeing the thing and then being able to focus on it. It gets can be tricky at times, but I think we've found it and now we can move forward. So if this is 87 plus 5, we would be looking at a 92. If this was 87 plus 9, we'd be looking at 96. We can't do it, so this is 2. We said this therefore had to be a 5. This had to be a 9. And we've got quite a bit of numbers now that we can work through. Let's just put these two in. They have to be from 7 and 9, just so that they're there. These 3 digits, we need to have a 4 somewhere, so they have to go over here. We need to have a 5 and an 8 in the other 2, which we can't quite determine. Okay. Now that we've got these, did that do anything with up here to help out? Let's see. What can this digit be? Well, it could be a 1, can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4. It could be 5 or 6, not 7, could be 8, not 9. So there's gonna have to be some interaction here that's gonna help limit this. So if this is 24 and this is a 1, again, we're getting up to the 25. If it's a 5, we would have a 29, which does not work. So no 5. It's a 6, it creates a 30, 30, so that doesn't work. If it's an 8, we get ourselves into 32. So we're either 25 or 32, it seems. And I stopped, paused for a second there to see if that created an issue with our 1, 3 here. Because we have 24 plus 1, we end up with 25, which allows the 3 and the 1 to work. And if we have the 24 with the 8, we were looking at 32. So that would put our 1 here and our 3 here, which all seems to also work. That's 7, we can actually put an 8 here. Okay, that's another thing I didn't see. So that does actually reduce this to being a 1. So then we get the 3 and the 1. Now, if this is a 1, this must be 25. There we go, we're moving again. this digit can't be 1, can't be 2. Could be 3 or 4, not 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9. We're just going to go through our iterations until we figure this out. So if this is a 25, we can say this cannot get into the 40s because we're only adding a single digit to it. It can't be the 3 because that 3 is looking at this. So this is still in our 20s. So this can't be 7, 8, or 9. 25 plus 3 would be 28. 25 plus 4 would be 29. Those are all fairly high 20s. But we're still not going to be able to get into 4 or 5, so this has to be in the 30s. This digit has to be from 6, 7, or 8. So this digit is either going to be, well, it can't be 34 with the 28 plus the 6. It could be 35. It could be 36. If it was 29, it would be 29 plus the 6, which is 5, 35, 36, then 37. So those are all the options. So this can't be a 5 because of this 5. Okay. That 3 here actually just tells us what this is for. So let's put that in. This must be 29. There we go. 29 plus something is going to equal something. This can't be a 6. 6, 7, 8. This is a 6, 7, 8 triple left over. Can't be 7. Okay, so I think we probably now have quite a bit of information to do more Sudoku-y type stuff because we filled out a good chunk of all these boxes now. So where do we want to start our looking? We know there has to be a 5 in one of these two for this column. Can't be there, so let's put our 5 in. This has to be from 6, 7, or 8 again, so it could still be any of those for this column. These two are givens, actually, and they have to be 7 and 8. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9 are taken. So this is a 7, 8 pair, which means this is 6, and this is a 4. And this is actually just a given 6 now. So put the 6 in, put the 7 in, put the 8 in. 29 plus 8 does equal 37. So we're on the right track. This 8 here can give us our 7 or our 8. And now we should be fully into Sudoku mode and using these white Kropkis to kind of finish off the sauce, as they say, or do they say? I don't know if I've ever heard anyone say that, but I'm saying it now. 2, 3, and 7, not 2, not 7. Sorry, not 3. These have to be, and I think that's what we're going to start to get. We're going to get these, what these have to be, and there's going to be some obvious thing that cannot work. We got 5, 6, and 9. But clearly, this has to be a 7, because it's the only thing that can get anywhere near 5, 6, or 9. So we'll put our 7 in, we'll put our 3 and our 2. And then we will know that this has to be 6, and this has to be 5, and this has to be 9. And again, they didn't quite finish what this puzzle is, but they're going to get us there. So let's keep looking till we find out. Actually, let's look across our boards and go that route and see if we can get this thing. So one of these has to be a 1. Okay, that's a good thing I looked at that. Removing 1 from all of these is a good boon because it places a 1 into one of these, and we're going to know it's this one actually, because if this was a 1, this would have to be a 2. Well, there's a 2 sitting right there. So this is 1. Now we're going to find out very quickly if we've made any mistakes, how everything has to happen now. This has to be 2, this has to be 3, this has to be 4. That 1 puts a 1 here. We did not have any negative interactions with these numbers, so that's good. 8 and 4, and 8 and 4. And now we just need to finish our puzzle. And really it should just be that, finishing putting in our digits. The 2's now done, good. The 1's are done, the 2's are done. The 3's are looking like they are going to be done. Yes, 3's are done. Let's take on our 4's. This is a 4. And that was all of them. And let's look at our 5's next. We know that one of these, because of these two fives, looking in here, we know one of these is a 5, and this 5 then looks and sees those, so this is a 5. We also can look at this 7, 9 here and say this has to be 7 or 9. There's a 9 there, so let's do that. That's a little bit faster. And we know this column must have 1 digit left, which is an 8. Then we're going to know that these guys have to be from 6, 7, and 9. There's a 6 and a 7 looking here. So these are from 6 and 7. These two digits now are telling me they have to be 5 and 8. There's an 8 here. So this one is the 5, and this one is the 8. 6, 7 in this column. This has to be 6 or 7. There's a 7 here. 6, 7, 6. And we have a 7, 9 pair down here. The 9 tells us, we could also look here at the 7 and said that's 9. And our last couple of digits, what are they going to be? We need a 5 and a 7, so we got 7 and 5. And these two, to round it all off, is 6 and 9. 6 and 9. There we go. New liquid solution. I'll take a look at that and make sure that this is correct. It probably is, but this one was posted a day and a half ago or something like that. So I think the last time I tried to click this, it didn't bring my information over. It did not. So I'll have to add it in. I'll use the new link for what I actually come on now. I'll use the new link in the description for all y'all. But my the one I go and I'll just go and verify by hand that this has the solution and is correct. So anyway, wonderful puzzle. Willpower always makes great puzzles. Took me about 30 minutes, which is a nice, comfortable puzzle. Once I got started, it was finding the place to really kind of get into this thing. As usual, things started to flow once that happened. So anyway, hope you'll enjoy this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.